Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. How are we all today? So, the most bizarre comment I've ever dealt with, or even heard, in like 20 years in the industry. So, I'm at a regular. There's two gardens, by the way. There's no fence. So, there's like both open. But anyway, I've been looking after this property for about 9 months now. It's looking real nice, really maintained, and we're really progressing. So, I'm really happy with it. But the other garden, not so great. But anyway, I'm cutting along, really enjoying myself. Got my headphones in, got AC/DC on. You know, I'm loving life. I'm like, thunderstruck. Yeah, anyway, cutting along, and then I turn around, and this fella, like this, really angry, like looking at me, and I thought, at first I thought, maybe I hit a stone, smashed a window, because that happens. So I was like, alright, let's go deal with this situation. I got up to him, like, hello, how you doing? You know, British, we'll talk about that. And he's like, you have to give me a discount rate to do my garden. And I was like, why? And this is the comment. Because your garden looks so nice, you've now made my garden look worse. And you have to give me a good price. And I was like, what? First off, I was like, this guy's a bit of a bellend. Two, I'm thinking, how does he even, in his mind, think you're right? But I was like, anyway, when you deal with bellends, well, you will deal with a lot, I just have a laugh with them. I was like, so what do you want to do then? You have to give me a discount. I was like, I don't have to give you a discount. I actually don't. I'll give you a price. And I said, right, $300. $300? You charge him $150. I want to pay $100 max. And I politely said, I was like, you're correct. I do charge my client $150. But the first 2 or 3 visits, I actually charge him $300 because the state of the garden looks just like yours. But afterwards, it's manageable. It's lovely. Lovely job to do. $150 once every 2 weeks. Takes about 2 hours. Just over 2 hours. And then he goes, no. I want a deal. And I was like, look, we all love deals. But I ain't going to give you a deal. You have to give me a deal. Now it looks so nice. My garden looks awful compared to yours. And I was like, bell end. But I was like, okay, it ain't happening. He goes, $150. I said, $350. You've gone up. You said $300. I was like, yeah, but I can't see me winning here. So he walked off. I was like, hey, whatever, I don't care. Cutting again. Thunderstruck. Loving it. And then I look over. There's a lady standing there who I believe is the wife. And I'm like, oh dear. I'll stop. Hello, how are you doing? You must give me a deal. This garden looks awful compared to yours. I want to pay $100 max. And I was like, I'm not doing it for $100. I was like, this is like 3-4 hours work. I'm not doing it. I want a deal. Why can't you give me a deal? I was like, I know my worth. I know what I want to make an hour. I know what I make profit. The state of your garden will push my tools to the limit. And I ain't willing to do that. But I said, look, I'm willing to do the job. But you got to pay. Oops. Accidentally pressed the honk there. Oops. But I said, you got to pay. She goes, I'm not paying that money. I was like, well, I'm not doing it. She goes, look at the state of my garden. Look at it. And she's looking around, pointing to it. And I'm like, yeah, you're right. It does look horrible. But I'm not doing it for a very small price. I was like, someone might do it for you, that price. But it's not going to be me. I know my worth. I'm not doing it. Anyway, she walks off. And then I get my client come out. Like 5 minutes later. He's quite smirking, and he always brings me a cup of tea, Yorkshire tea bags, lovely. And I'm like, hello mate. He goes, I had a phone call from the neighbour. I was like, oh, okay, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to sound rude. He goes, no, they're idiots. They wanted $100 for the whole thing to be done because how bad their garden looks. And we just said, end of the day, if you're willing to leave your garden for that long, what do you expect to happen? But anyway, let me know what you guys think. Was I being an idiot? Was I being rude? Maybe. It's a laugh. But you get what you pay for. And I know my worth. Ta-ta.